relevant parties must unite to boost infrastructure and skills standards. New act to safeguard gig economy workers' welfare to be introduced. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Otto Othman. As President of the ASEAN Inter-Parliamentary Assembly, AIPA, next year, Malaysia plans to visit each ASEAN member country before the conference scheduled for September 2025. Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul, who is also the 46th AIPA President, stated that arrangements are being made and will be implemented soon. Tan Sri Johari said that in line with Malaysia's chairmanship of ASEAN in 2025, he has also taken proactive steps to continue strengthening diplomatic relations between Malaysia and ASEAN member states through an official visit to Vietnam from 23rd to 25th October.
Kita mengambil sikap bahawa kalau boleh kita nak melawat semua dengan negara jiran, dengan negara ahli ASEAN sebelum berlakunya persidangan pada bulan September tahun depan.
He said that the visit also focused on Malaysia's preparations for hosting the 46th AIPA next year, aiming to enhance cooperation in trade, investment, clean energy and cultural exchange to strengthen an inclusive and sustainable ASEAN. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has urged all parties, including the Ministry of Transport, MOT, relevant agencies and private companies in the logistics sector, to ensure that industry infrastructure and workforce skills meet the highest standards. He said this focus aligns with the government's current priorities on industrialization, digitization, energy transition and semiconductors. The Prime Minister noted that this year, major investors have expressed interest in Malaysia, with infrastructure at ports, transport and logistics being among their main considerations.
Kalau tidak, di antara isu yang ditingkatkan ialah bila pelabur masuk di Selangor atau di Kulim atau di Johor dan Sabah Sarawak umpamanya, dia akan lihat umpamanya keupayaan ekosistem keseluruhannya. Sebab itu saya mahu kementerian dan rakan-rakan beri tumpuan yang lebih dalam bidang ini kerana pace tahap kepesatan perubahan itu terlalu cepat. Dan kalau umpamanya jentera kita lembab, kita akan ketinggalan.
He said this at the inauguration of the DHL complex in KLIA Free Trade Zone today. The move to raise the minimum wage rate to 1,700 ringgit reflects the political determination of the unity government. Datuk Sri Anwar, who is also the finance minister, described the decision to raise the minimum wage as bold, noting that waiting for companies alone to decide would prevent any progress. Now, he said if he leaves it to the companies, there would be no decision and it is impossible to reach a decision to raise the minimum wage by that way.
The country is doing well. Investments coming in a big way. And this prosperous nation cannot afford to see this sort of treatment to our workers.
He said this at the launch of Putrajaya Madani Residency Housing Development today. The Prime Minister expressed hope that all companies will cooperate in implementing the new minimum wage rates taking effect in February next year, as announced in the recently tabled Budget 2025. Now, the government also decided to postpone the minimum wage of 1,700 ringgit for employers with less than 5 employees for 6 months. A new act to safeguard the welfare of gig economy workers is set to be introduced. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the proposed legislation will be tabled by the Human Resources Ministry, Kesuma, in the current session of the Dewan Rakyat immediately after the conclusion of the debates on the Supply Bill 2025.
Elemen yang terkandung antaranya ialah tentang safety net di kalangan pekerja Dan juga saya sebutkan tadi perlindungan daripada bukan hanya KWSP atau APF tetapi juga dari Perkeso. Dan saya telah menjadangkan agar kos rawatan, kos perubatan juga dimasukkan.
Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said the legislation sends a clear message that the government stands in solidarity with the 1.16 million gig workers nationwide. He said this initiative positions Malaysia as one of the first countries to enact specific legislation for workers in the gig economy. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof encouraged the housing developers to install solar panels on rooftops in new housing projects in line with Malaysia's commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions as early as 2050, though the National Energy Transition Roadmap NETR. Now, he said so far Sime Darby Property Berhad has taken the initiative to implement a pilot rooftop solar project in its latest property development.
Ini salah satu pendekatan kita untuk meletakkan solar di bumbung dan akhirnya mereka akan bekalkan kembali kepada grid dan hasilan itu akan dikongsi termasuklah biayai kepada pemilik rumah.
Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof, who is also the Minister of Energy Transition and Water Transformation, said the project's success would serve as a basis for nationwide implementation. Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister said the government is continuing the e-rebate program with an allocation of 70 million ringgit under Budget 2025 to raise awareness about energy efficiency and support low-income groups. He said those purchasing approved appliances rated 5 and 4 stars will be eligible for the rebate. The Ministry of Economy is in the midst of finalising the details of the T15 group category in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance before tabling it to the Cabinet for approval. Minister Rafizi Ramli said that these details, expected to be completed in a month, are necessary to provide a more accurate framework for the T15 group, which will be determined based on locality rather than national definitions as in previous policies.
Kalau ikut perbelanjaan boleh belanja bersih dan juga perbelanjaan asas kehidupan wajar, dia takkan jadi satu garis untuk satu negara. Sebab perbelanjaan itu dia berbeza-beza, kos sara hidup dia berbeza-beza ikut kawasan. Jadi mungkin di satu kawasan kalau dah lebih RM10,000 pendapatan isi rumah, bila dah ditengok semua dengan perbelanjaan bersih, pendapatan boleh belanja bersih dia dengan ni, tapi sebab di kawasan dia tu RM10,000 tu memang dah T10, sebab dia kawasan dia tu memang kos sara hidup rendah sebagainya, so yang itu di kawasan dia mungkin RM10,000 ke atas tu dia dah kira dah jadi T10 dah. Tapi kalau di kawasan lain di Kuala Lumpur T10 RM10,000 dah lah, dia tak masuk dalam tu lah.
The minister added that the basis for the definition of the T15 will also be guided by the net disposable income of a household, with a measure of dependence based on the basic cost of a decent living. Now, Digital Minister Gobind Singh Deo said Malaysia's digital game industry has recorded sales and export revenue of 45 million ringgit from government funds between 2014 and 2024.
Sehingga kini, sejumlah 60 buah projek telah diluluskan oleh MDEC dengan jumlah keseluruhan dana sebanyak 36.7 juta ringgit Malaysia bagi pembangunan permainan digital yang meliputi platform komputer, konsol dan mudah alih. Kesemua projek ini, Tuan Ketua, juga telah berjaya mewujudkan lebih daripada 700 peluang pekerjaan.
The minister said this demonstrates the significant potential for the digital game industry in Malaysia, fostered by government support in areas such as market access, incubators, conferences, workshops and upskilling and reskilling programs. He responded to a query regarding MDEC's funding for the local digital game industry and the sales revenue of individual games. The minister further noted that to enhance the promotion and marketing of local digital games, MDEC has established a platform for companies to explore market access. He said the digital game markets frequently participated include the Games Developer Conference in the United States, the Tokyo Game Show in Japan, China Joy in China, and Gamescom in Europe. The Education Ministry will expand its synergy partner with industry players nationwide to further strengthen the technical and vocational education training, or TVET. Its Minister Fadlina Siddiq said the cooperation between the ministry and industry players is important to allow more TVET educators to undergo upskilling and reskilling trainings.
Peluang industri ini dia berlaku yang disebut sebagai evolving, ya. Dia berkembang pesat dengan teknologi-teknologi dan kepakaran-kepakaran tertentu. Jadi barangkali ada yang sesuai, ada yang tidak sesuai di peringkat KPM, yang itu yang harus kita ambil perhatian, dan sebab itu peluasan rakan sinergi ini kita laksanakan supaya keperluan guru-guru kita juga menguasai ilmu-ilmu di peringkat industri, kemahiran-kemahiran industri ini, supaya mereka seiring dan dapat menyampaikan pengajaran itu dengan lebih baik dalam persiapan dan persediaan untuk anak-anak murid kita.
She added it is also important to expose TVET students to the latest technologies to help prepare them for the labour market in the future. She said this after completing forum session at the Vitrox Auditorium College this morning. Melaka Chief Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf Yusof said Melaka will take proactive measures to promote Visit Malaysia Year 2026 by leveraging its advantages as the host of World Tourism Day, WTD, and the World Tourism Conference, WTC 2025. Now, he added the promotional activities aimed at both international and local participants will commence as early as January next year. WTD 2025 will be attended by tourism ministers from around the world, providing an opportunity to promote Malaysia's tourism sector.
Ya, kita juga punya sasaran dan kita akan berada beberapa lagi mesyuarat jawatan kuasa untuk kita menggerakkan aktiviti ini sebagai salah satu instrumen menarik pelancong pada tahun depan. Jadi kaedahnya belum kita putuskan lagi.
He said this after officiating the state-level Deepavali Festival 2024, which was also attended by the Melaka MIC chairman, who is also the State Youth, Sports and Non-Governmental Organisation NGO Exco, Dato' VP Shanmugam. The media previously reported that the WTD and WTC 2025, set to commence on 27th September next year, are expected to attract participants from over 150 countries, including heads of national tourism organizations and key figures from the global tourism industry. Moving on, the Sabah government's investor-friendly policy has shown promising results, with the state now attracting a growing number of local and foreign investors across various sectors. Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Noor said that this response indicates the state is on the right path for growth through strategic initiatives under the Sabah Maju Jaya roadmap. For example, the Chief Minister announced that a renowned fast food chain is returning to Sabah to open a new restaurant and reveal future business plans in the state. He said this development not only stimulates local economic activity but also creates more job opportunities for Sabah residents. Sabah recorded 11.34 billion ringgit in investments last year, making it the 7th-ranked state for investment nationwide. Datuk Sri Haji further noted that the Sabah government encourages joint ventures between franchise businesses and state-affiliated companies to explore mutually beneficial opportunities. Deputy Transport Minister Dato' Hasbi Habibullah emphasized construction of 5 light rail transit line 3 or LRT3 stations previously cancelled is expected to be completed and operational by the second quarter of 2028. Now, he noted that Prasarana Malaysia Berhad is currently finalizing the technical and financial aspects of the additional contract agreement for the project.
Kos asal projek LRT3 yang diluluskan pada tahun 2015 adalah sebanyak RM31.65 bilion Namun begitu, selaras dengan langkah penjimatan tersebut oleh kerajaan, kos tersebut telah dikurangkan pada menjadi RM16.63 bilion melalui pengurangan skop projek.
He added that the additional 5.3 billion ringgit allocated for the construction of the 5 stations brings the total cost of the LRT3 project to 21.93 billion ringgit. The design scope for the 5 stations, Tropicana, Raja Muda, Tamasha, Bukit Raja and Bandar Botanik, is expected to begin in the first quarter of next year, with physical construction starting in the fourth quarter of 2025 and taking approximately 2 years to complete. Adding to that, Datuk Hasbi said Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAB has reduced 95,906 seats for flights to Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan from August to December this year. However, he said AirAsia X and Batik Air have collectively increased their capacity by 139,578 seats to help offset this reduction. For October alone, Dato' Hasbi said Malaysian airline companies are providing a total of 1.42 million seats for domestic flights to Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan.
Dan sebanyak 18% atau 57,276 penerbangan daripada 315,388 jumlah penerbangan berjadual telah dibatalkan pada tahun ini. Setakat Ogos, ini menjadikan bilangan penerbangan yang beroperasi pada 2023 berjumlah 353,838 penerbangan dari bilangan penerbangan yang beroperasi pada tahun 2024 setakat Ogos adalah berjumlah 258,112.
He said this during the question and answer session in the Dewan Rakyat today. Dato' Hasbi said the cancellations were primarily due to commercial factors such as low passenger loads, airline operational challenges including crew shortages and late arrivals, aircraft rotation, adverse weather, air traffic control requirements, and technical issues such as aircraft on ground or AOG status. For passengers affected by MAB's cancellations, Dato' Hasbi said reallocation to available Malaysia Airlines flights is offered, and if none are available, alternative flights on other carriers will be provided. Malaysia's export prices in September this year slipped by 0.6% to 149.3 points from 150.3 points in August, while import prices fell 1.9% to 129.5 points. The Statistics Department of Malaysia, DOSM, in a statement today, said Malaysia's terms of trade grew 1.3% month-on-month to 117.5 points in September, while on an annual basis, Malaysia's terms of trade climbed 6.1% from 110.7 points in the same period last year. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the Export Unit Value Index edged down by 0.6% in September 2024 against August 2024. At the same time, the Export Volume Index fell by 3.2%, in line with the decline in the index of manufactured goods, miscellaneous manufactured articles, and mineral fuels. On an annual comparison, the Unit Value Index increased by 3.3%, while the Volume Index dropped by 3.4%. On another note, DOSM said the seasonally adjusted import volume index slipped by 18.2% from 229.1 points to 187.3 points. A year-on-year comparison showed that the unit value index was down by 1.4% and the value index grew by 14%. Nevertheless, Malaysia's terms of trade expanded 1.3% month-on-month to 117.5 points in September 2024. Local institutional investors net bought 244.6 million ringgit in equities on Bursa Malaysia last week, a reversal from the net selling observed the previous week. In its fund flow report for the week ending October 25th, MIDF Amanah Investment Bank Berhad, or MIDF, noted that local retail investors continued to net sell totaling 48.4 million ringgit last week. Meanwhile, foreign investors resumed their selling position, net disposing of 196.2 million ringgit in equities on Bursa Malaysia. MIDF identified the sectors with the highest net foreign inflows as construction, 86.5 million ringgit, financial services, 85.7 million ringgit, and healthcare, 53.0 million ringgit. Conversely, these sectors facing the highest net foreign outflows included utilities, 266.9 million ringgit, technology, 50.9 million ringgit, and telecommunications and media, 45.7 million ringgit. The average daily trading volume, ADTV, for foreign investors declined by 19.6%. Regionally, MIDF reported a continued exodus of foreign funds from Asia for the fourth consecutive week, totaling $1.24 billion. Among the 8 tracked countries, only Taiwan experienced net foreign inflows, with foreign investors net buying $869 million in equities there last week. Moving on, a dealer said the Kuala Lumpur rubber market ended higher today, supported by tight natural rubber and our supply concerns due to inclement weather forecasts in major producing countries. Now, according to Thailand's meteorological agency, heavy rains may cause flash floods from 27th October to 2nd November. The dealer said sentiments were also lifted by continuous buying, supported by the weaker ringgit against the US dollar. Nevertheless, further gains were capped by the weak performance of the regional rubber futures markets owing to mixed cues on China's economy and losses in crude oil prices. It was reported that China's fiscal revenue in the first 9 months of 2024 fell 2.2% year-on-year, while oil prices tumbled more than $3 a barrel today, after Israel's strike on Iran over the weekend bypassed Tehran's oil and nuclear facilities and did not disrupt energy supplies. At the time of writing, benchmark Brent crude oil fell 5.42% to $71.94 a barrel. The Malaysian Rubber Board reported that the price of standard Malaysian rubber 20 or SMR 20 increased by 8 sen to 863.0 sen per kilogram, while latex in bulk gained 2 sen to 748.5 sen per kilogram. At 5 p.m., SMR 20 stood at 869.0 sen per kilogram, while latex in bulk was at 748.5 sen per kilogram. Coming up, MOH to form 2 committees to elevate Orang Asli health standards to national levels. Highway users nationwide will enjoy toll-free travel on 29th and 30th October in conjunction with Deepavali celebration. Now, Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi, in a statement today, said the toll exemption would take effect from 12:01 a.m. tomorrow until 11:59 p.m. on 30th October. However, he said this would apply solely to Class 1 private vehicles at all toll plazas, except the Bangunan Sultan Iskandar or BSI Toll Plaza and Tanjung Kupang Toll Plaza in Johor. He said the government will bear the estimated cost of 38 million ringgit for this free toll initiative, with compensation to be paid to all concession companies involved. He noted that this initiative aligns with the core principles of the Madani government, namely prosperity and care and compassion, in easing the public's cost of living while strengthening unity among the nation's diverse communities. Datuk Sri Nanta encouraged highway users to take advantage of this opportunity and to plan their journeys for smoother travel. On behalf of the Works Ministry, the Malaysian Highway Authority and all highway concession companies, the minister urged the road users to drive responsibly and adhere to all regulations. On another note, Malaysian Highway Authority (LLM) expects the traffic volume will increase starting tomorrow, with an estimated 2.62 million vehicles using the main expressways heading towards the north, south and east coast in conjunction with the Deepavali celebration this Thursday. In a statement, its Director General, Datuk Sazali Harun, LLM, has instructed all highway concessionaires to make thorough preparations so that the journey of highway users is safe and smooth throughout this period. He said among the measures were instructing highway concessionaires not to implement any highway lane closures except for emergency work starting this Thursday until Monday, ensuring the operation of their respective highways and rest and recreation or R&R areas are in good condition, and providing additional facilities such as parking and portable toilets. The government today announced free tolls on all expressways for 2 days, starting at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow until 11:59 p.m. on 30th October, in conjunction with the Deepavali celebration. The Ministry of Health will establish 2 committees specifically to ensure the health status of orang asli population is on par with Malaysia's general population. Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the initiative is part of the government's goal of universal health coverage, or UHC, and uphold the principle that no one is left behind in healthcare.
Dua jawatankuasa kerja telah ditubuhkan. Yang pertama, jawatankuasa pemandu penentu sosial kesihatan orang asli. That is so very important. Sangat penting jawatankuasa pemandu tentang penentu sosial kesihatan ataupun the social determinant of health komuniti orang asli. Maka kedua-dua jawatankuasa ini akan merangka antara lainnya ada 7 strategi dan juga intervensi bagi mengurangkan jurang, bagi memperkatkan lagi jurang kesenjangan ini dalam hal SDH orang asli melalui peningkatan status sosial, ekonomi dan pendidikan agar tahap komuniti orang asli ini hampir dapat tahap itu dapat kita pendekatkan dan perapatkan dengan masyarakat arus perdana yang lain.
He added the members will consist of Secretary General and Director General from 18 related ministries and agencies, including representatives from the Orang Asli community in both communities. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil stated that the Malaysian Media Council, or MMM, bill is set to be tabled for its first reading during the current Dewan Rakyat session. He explained the bill experienced a brief delay due to request from the Malaysian Productivity Cooperation, or MPC, for it to undergo a regulatory impact analysis.
Tapi setelah kita tegaskan, ada pasukan pro-tem jawatankuasa yang telah membantu untuk melakukan perbincangan awal, memberi maklum balas dan terlibat dalam proses membentuk undang-undang ini, akhirnya mereka bersetuju.
The minister said this to reporters after visiting and providing aid to former Tamil Mala journalist R. Saraspati and former Tamil Nesan proofreader S. Batimali through the Tabung Kasih Hawana Fund in conjunction with Deepavali today. Well, that concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, relevant parties must unite to boost infrastructure and skills standards. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Otto Othman. Thanks for watching.